So the oil sands, eh? Lots going on.
Definitely. I'm just reading about Suncor. Apparently, they're moving ahead in a big way.
Yeah, but there's so much conflicting information out there. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Have you ever been up there?
Nah.
Want to go have a look?
Why not?
The global community has an ever-growing appetite for energy. But today, people want to know that energy producers are making responsible choices to protect the environment now and for the future. At Suncor, we welcome this scrutiny. In fact, we've worked hard to create a company that is a leader in continuously improving everything we do. We're happy to have you come see for yourself, ask questions, be part of the dialogue. This just helps us continue to get better and better at what we do.
Welcome to Suncor. My name is Kaylin and I will be your guide today. Before we get going on our tour, I'll ask that you please buckle up your seatbelts, as safety is the #1 priority at Suncor. I'll also get you to note the emergency exits. There are 2 in the sides, 1 in the front, 1 in the back, and 2.
Of course, Fort McMurray and the other communities in the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo have been home to Suncor people since we first started investing here in 1963. Our roots are deep, and you'll see our connection to the community just about everywhere you look. In fact, the Suncor Energy Foundation has invested more than $40 million in our communities in the past 5 years alone.
Suncor invests in our community.
They've been more than supportive of any initiatives we also have.
Suncor's investment in our community helped build this theater.
As the original oil sands leaders, we have a long track record, and our investments in technology and the community continue to show positive results. We're Canada's largest integrated energy company and have the largest oil sands resource position in the world.
Suncor is a Canadian integrated energy company. In the Fort McMurray area, we develop the oil sands resource by both in situ and mining operations. On this site,
Suncor develops this amazing resource in 4 basic steps: recovery, extraction, upgrading, and reclamation. Oil sand is a mixture of bitumen, sand, clay, silt, and water. It's the thick bitumen we're after. We get it in 2 ways. About 20% of the bitumen lies close to the surface and must be mined using traditional surface mining techniques.
This is a 797. It's the largest haul truck in the world, and it can carry over 400 tons in one single load. Its large size needs fewer loads and less of a footprint.
In 2011, the eyes of the world focused on our mine when we discovered one of the most exciting dinosaur fossils in history. We shut down an entire area of the mine and worked for 2 weeks with paleontologists from the Royal Tyrrell Museum to extract the most complete ankylosaur ever discovered.
I've been doing this work 32 years, and this is the most excited I've been about a dinosaur skeleton since '85. So it's really spectacular. It's what appears to be a nearly complete dinosaur skeleton from 115 million years ago, roughly, and we've never seen anything like that in Alberta before.
But the mine is only one method we use to recover bitumen. To get to the deeper bitumen deposits, we've developed in situ processes similar to traditional oil production techniques. The in situ method involves drilling horizontal, parallel wells. Steam is injected through the top well. This heats the bitumen enough to allow it to flow down to the bottom well and be pumped to the surface.
In situ is the newest frontier in oil sands development. It involves far less disturbance of the land.
The oil sands from the surface mining operations come to the extraction plant to have the bitumen removed. Here, we use an efficient process to combine it with warm water so the bitumen floats to the surface.
This is our bitumen froth. We float it over the top of the sep cell. For further processing, we send it to secondary extraction.
The remaining product, a mixture of water, sand, clay, and residual bitumen, is called tailings. More about that in a moment. As we've mentioned, bitumen is a very thick substance. Think the consistency of molasses in January. That's because it's made up of large, complex hydrocarbon molecules that need to be broken down. Upgrading is the process that converts heavy bitumen into higher value synthetic crude oil and diesel fuel. At the heart of the upgrading process are these highly efficient coke drums, where temperature and pressure are used to thermally crack the long-chain hydrocarbon molecules into shorter chain molecules that can be transported by pipeline.
The heat generated in this upgrading process in the coke drums is used for other purposes as well. The heat is then transferred into water, and this water is then reused in the extraction process. Here at Suncor, we always look at ways to minimize our water usage on site, and this is just one of them.
After coking, the bitumen undergoes a secondary upgrading process where the lighter hydrocarbons are separated under vacuum conditions and high temperatures. The byproducts of the upgrading process include petroleum coke, some of which are used on site, and sulfur. Both are sold to world markets. Oil sands mines produce tailings that are a mixture of water, clay, sand, and residual bitumen produced during the extraction process. When tailings are released to a pond, the heaviest material, mostly sand, settles to the bottom, while water rises to the top. The middle layer, the mature fine tailings, or MFT, is made up of fine clay particles suspended in water. Some of these particles settle, but much remains suspended. The challenge is that MFT does not settle within a reasonable time frame. As a result, Suncor has needed more and larger oil sands tailings ponds over the years. But Suncor has changed that picture dramatically. Our new TRO technology allows us to manage our MFT inventory when used in combination with our suite of tailings technologies. Suncor's work in tailings management is not simply an investment in a pot of gold at the end of some future rainbow. This is our pot of gold. Wapasu Lookout is the site of our original tailings pond from 1967. It's the first tailings pond ever to be surface reclaimed and is now a natural area of about 220 hectares.
It's got to be the greatest thing that I've done in my career, or been involved with in my career. It's been a big team that we've been part of, but yeah, I'm proud.
And it won't stop there. Suncor currently has plans to reclaim all the land disturbed by our oil sands operations. Because in today's world, responsible development is simply the price of admission. And for years, Suncor has been a thought and practice leader in the area of environmental stewardship. This leadership has paid off at Wapasu Lookout, and it's making a difference in every corner of the company.
We've got a plan to reduce water consumption by 12% over the next few years.
And at the same time, we're working towards the goal of reducing our emissions by 10%.
And on top of all of that, our plans to double the amount of reclaimed land.
We're thinking big improvements, more efficiencies, but ultimately we're thinking about responsible oil sands development.
And we know that in the end, it's just good business.
Our values at Suncor is the triple bottom line. It's economic, environmental, and social.
It is important through the growth plan that we balance the development with our social and environmental responsibility.
So, what does the future hold for Suncor? Over the next several years, we're targeting compound annual growth of approximately 5%, most of it from the oil sands. And the way we'll do this is by holding true to our triple bottom line vision. It'll take fresh thinking, constant innovation, and uncompromising commitment. But we wouldn't have it any other way.
When you look at TRO and when you look at Wapasu Lookout, I'm really excited at what we're going to be accomplishing within 5 to 10 years from now.
I really wish that everyone could come up and see for themselves what we're doing out here.
We're so glad that you could join us today. Feel free to ask any questions. I also highly recommend that you go to our website to find new information on what we're doing to bring you the energy that you need.
Suncor, we invite you to join the conversation.